If they carry me, they go where I don't know.
Okay, guys, so this is Sam and IJ podcast, all the way from somewhere you will never believe. Where are we?
On Mount Sinai.
We are on Mount Sinai in Egypt. So we came for a little time out, and by some series of fortunate events, we found ourselves somewhere in the middle of Mount Sinai. Okay, and we're all alone with a little.
With our new bedroom friend.
Yes, with our bedroom.
Show them our bedroom friend. Show them our bedroom friend.
I'll stop it and show you.
No, just turn it around.
I can't turn it around.
Why not? Just like this.
Oh, okay.
See? It's keeping us. It's keeping us company while
Yeah.
everybody has left us behind.
Now tell them, why did everybody leave us behind?
So, this place is very high. As we are now, we're like close to 2,000 meters above sea level. Now, I came here, to see where Moses, received 10 commandments and everything. But on getting here, I now discovered that it's not like as if we even really know the exact place where he received it. So this is just a hiking trip.
Okay, wait.
Now, we now gotten to a place where it is very high.
But they said where he received it is at the top of the mountain. I think when the sun comes out,
We're in the top of the mountain.
we are
now.
not in the top of the mountain.
We're in the top.
This is the second to. We have 3 kilometers to go.
No, it's 3 kilometers around the tip like this, around the top.
But we are 3 kilometers away from the top.
It's just winding stairs now. They cut it to this. They now cut it in the edge of the mountain. You will not
We
be
are
walking
3
like this. You will
kilometers
not be
away
looking
from
down
the top.
and be seeing your life.
And a certain
down.
person, I'll leave you to guess who that person is, said that they cannot continue the trip because of an irrational fear of heights.
See,
So this certain person kept looking down.
I don't even think we should even call it irrational, because it's actually rational, because if you fall, you will die.
So all the 30-something people that went up the trail and left us here alone, Uko,
They're all Unyibo people that like hiking.
and the people that came with us from Nigeria.
Then they are trying to prove a point. Jesus has died for me. There's no point in proving to anybody again.
Right. So lo and behold, we are alone.
Why are you talking like as if your own is that you're not tired? Your whole body is paining
I'm
you.
tired. I'm like, my whole body is
You'll
paining.
be walking like 3 or 4 kilometers from the ground.
Please let me check how many 1,000 steps I have. I beg. Check my
Like
phone.
3 or 4 kilometers from the ground, like up the mountain like this.
No, let me tell you the worst part. The worst part is that this trip started at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Now is what time
So
is
we first spent like 3 hours. 9 it was more than 3 hours. Okay, let's say 3 hours. No, more than
Now
3
it's
hours.
4:15 a.m.
So we spent 3 hours to get from the hotel to Mount Sinai, like 3 to 4 hours, and then we now started the trip around 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. So you're supposed to hike all the way to the top. And so the beautiful thing about this trip is when you get to the top, by then the sun will be rising, so you have a beautiful sunrise
We'll see
view.
her from here now. We'll see her from
So
here.
that's the whole trip. Now my body betrayed me because I want to faint. My whole body, I'm in severe pains. And I walked out. I walked out before I left Nigeria because I knew I wanted to do this. What a
They tell you
betrayed.
all those 2 weeks walking out of doing it, in your mind, you don't walk out.
Whereas, but I was actually pushing, I was pushing my body to get all the way to the top. And I was actually going. But like I said, a certain person, and I'll leave you to guess who that person was, has an irrational fear of heights. And once we got to the first stop and we started going up, the person kept looking down, and this certain person was panicking. Now the worst part is we have no idea how we are going to go back.
Oh, more. That's another thing. Oh.
Because by then,
where we are.
the sun would have come out and it would have. I remember this certain person when we went to Luma Rock, and for some reason, the person just used bravado to get to the top because we were not yet married. So they didn't want to embarrass themselves before getting married. Anyway, here we are. So now let's talk about irrational fears. You say it's not irrational, it's rational.
I don't think it's irrational.
This one is irrational.
How is it irrational?
But
Ijoma, look at the ground. Look at city. Look at where we are.
Babe, you've never seen anything.
And wind is now blowing. Heavy wind.
Let God turn on the
Heavy
light
wind.
today, and then you will see the real ground. I pity you.
God.
I will leave you and go.
No. You know what I'll do? I'll be holding the side like this as we're walking. I will hold the side of the mountain like this as we're walking. Till we get to the ground back.
So, irrational fears are irrational fears.
I'll be speaking in tongues as well.
That's true. You said that for the 2 hours we'll be climbing the tree, you'll be speaking in tongues. Where is your tongues? Oh, man of God. For God has not given us the spirit of fear.
The mountain they carry me where I don't know, say, go carry me, go. They lied to me. They did not tell us it to be like this.
I don't even think the others have gotten to the top yet, but I wish them all the best. I'm just here supporting my husband, right? These are what good wives do. My husband said he won't go, and he said he was not telling me I should go ahead. I said I can't go ahead. I can't leave you behind. We came here together. We'll stay together. So I cannot leave my husband. Anyways, so a quick one. We wanted to quickly talk about irrational fears. First and foremost, what are your irrational fears? You can comment. Let us now review this mystery person that has an irrational fear of heights. Can you review yourself, please?
See, okay, this is the thing. As long as your fear is not stopping you from doing something meaningful, right? If you are supposed to do something meaningful or something serious, right, you can now say, okay, I must overcome it. But there's no point trying to prove points.
They said the top of the mountain is burnt, where the fire was burning. Even the burning bush is in front. We cannot see it now.
It's a lie. Nobody knows where the bush is. How you go? There's one bush there they'll have just used to wine us for tourism. Say this is where Moses saw burning bush.
What if the burning bush is there?
He did not see it. Burning bush in Egypt in Mount Sinai. He was in Midian.
Actually.
It was even in Midian.
Okay.
They say it was burnt, that when the angel thunder fire was coming from heaven, the top of the mountain is burnt.
But how you can never know?
It's a lie.
How you gonna know?
It's a lie. But actually, this place puts a lot of things in perspective. That one, they go here for church on Sunday.
Okay.
But let's talk about what.
Someone has Kukabi.
Don't cook.
Come on now. Okay, now so back to our topic, irrational fears. I think my own irrational fear is pain, right? Like, yeah.
You don't want things to touch you.
My irrational fear is pain. I'm an Amazon bot, man. I can't stand pain. And then God, as God will have it, I'm with the one pastor in the world that likes to preach about pain. But the focus here is the reason why we are even doing this video. The reason why we are not on our way to Oriuki now. Irrational fears. But the question really is there really any? You've had this fear all your life, right?
Funny enough, when I was young, I didn't have it. I don't even know when it started.
At what point did you develop it?
I did when I was small. I used to jump from upstairs to downstairs.
I'm sure at some point you hurt yourself and something new.
I don't even know when it started. I don't know.
So 2 questions. Do you think therapy can solve it?
No, so it's like in psychology and psychiatry, there's this thing we have. There are 2 systems they use for flooding and I've forgotten the technical terms.
Okay.
Taught us, but you can flood the person with the experience and throw the person to the deep end, or you can expose the person to it gradually. I think that exposure to it gradually will help, because I think whenever I psych myself up and people help me, I usually tend to overcome it. But this one is no more. This particular Mount Sinai one is not. It's too much.
The exposure was too long. Almost 4 hours of exposure.
4 hours exposure.
And we've not even gotten to the top.
I've not gotten to this. Too much. And wind is blowing. That's my problem. You know, if there was no wind, I foresee, but the wind is blowing. It's like as if it will blow you down from the mountain.
But I'm proud of you. You went parasailing now, so
that one was like 5 minutes.
It was 5 minutes.
5 minutes in the air. But now I was high. I was seeing them in the boats like dots like this.
So
I tried now.
First question. Okay, so the first question: do you think therapy can help? Because think about it, right?
Probably, but I'm not interested. If it's something important for me to do,
exactly.
Like
save your children.
You're on the top of a skyscraper. I'm not going to see the ground. I will just do what I have to do.
But you won't know. Your body will betray you at that particular point in time. Samuel, you get to the 5th floor. It's a crippling fear. That's why it's an irrational fear.
No, it doesn't cripple me. It's something important. It doesn't cripple me.
So if it doesn't cripple you, why don't you mind over matter it?
Because it's not important now.
So you can actually mind over matter this thing.
Yes, now.
Oh yeah, let's go now.
It's no.
So what were you saying?
Yeah.
So I was asking therapy. And the reason I was saying therapy is so that your body doesn't betray you if you find yourself in a situation where
It's important. It shouldn't be a problem.
You are very sure about that?
I'm very sure. If it's important, it won't be a problem. Look at that one now that I did in Kenya, the zip lining. When I knew that it would be an appraisal issue, all my bosses were
But
there.
you almost fainted.
I didn't faint now.
But you almost
I did.
fainted.
That's the point.
Imagine if you had gone for therapy, maybe you would have felt a little better.
It's a lie. I was speaking in tongues. Tongues is my therapy.
So why did you speak in tongues now?
Because this one is not important. That's the point.
We want to go and see where the bush burns.
That's not where it burns. It's probably here who has said now that it burns.
Now back to my second question. So I remember there was a time I was so afraid of something. I can't remember what it was. And I kept praying to God. And God, of course, led me back to the scripture. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. So my second question is, what is the place of renewing your mind through the scriptures to deal with your irrational fears?
To be honest, let me not go to theological only, but the context of that's not giving a spirit of fear. I was not really talking about rational fears. It was irrational fear. That's the fear of persecution.
Yeah, but I know it was speaking of the spirit of fear of judgment, persecution.
Persecution, yeah, and all that. So Timothy being afraid of doing ministry because of all the things that happens to Christians and everything. So instead of him to be afraid and all that, so it was not really irrational. It was rational fear. But then, let's just say by extension, right? Fear is fear. The place of
praying through it, renewing your mind with the scriptures.
Funny enough, I think it's possible. Okay. It's exercise. It's just spiritual exercise. It's work. You put in the work, put in the spiritual exercise. You put your mind on it and all that. But I'm not doing the work. I'm not doing it. Those are died for me. What don't you see Moses for?
So lo and behold, here we find ourselves. The time is.
But I'll say this, Dosha.
Okay.
You need to mind your fears.
Yeah.
So they don't stop you from doing what's important. I don't think they ever truly completely go away. Because fear makes you know that something is wrong. Right? So
I just thought of another question.
And that's what boldness is. Courage. It's having the fear still walking.
Aha, thank you for saying that. Because I just thought of another question. I'm thinking of all through my life, every time I've heard of fear. Of course, fear has always had the negative connotation, and I'm not about to start trying to bring on the woke view that fear is not negative. Of course, fear is negative, but the question really is, when you said fears don't go away, right? But every time, most of the times I've heard about dealing with fear, it's almost as if you can confess it away. You can almost delete it from your life because you know you have to power and all of that.
No. What happens is you lay hold on something stronger than your fears. So it's not like as if the reason to be afraid is not there.
It will always be there.
It's always be there.
To always
you lay hold
come
on
up.
something more important.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So you're afraid of what people will say, and because of that you can't evangelize and all that. You lay hold on the fact that you love the person and you want the best for the person, and I think a person eternally, I think of the love of God, you think of God's commandments, and you lay hold on that, and then it helps you to overcome it. So that's how it is. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So that's about fear. So this is our impromptu topic about fear. I don't know. Is there any other thing you want to say about fear?
I don't know. It's too impromptu. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. You guys can add anything to the comments.
So my question for you is, what is your irrational fear? If you have a fear, what is your irrational fear? And let's see, how have you dealt with it? Did you go to therapy?
What did you do?
What did you do? Let's talk.